have head coach Mark Parsons. Jason, go ahead and kick us off.
Thanks, Sam. Mark, congrats on it seemed like a win that was kind of difficult to dig out. Was that the tempo that you expected for the full 90?
Happy midnight over there, Jason. Glad you could you stay with us, and hopefully you didn't have to drink too much coffee. Hey, this is a massive result. I thought in the end, both teams were turned up and performed. We're playing on the West Coast. It's our third game in 7 days after travel, and we had the best chances of the game. You know, we missed a massive chance in the first half. Multiple in the first half. We missed some big chances in the second half, but our back line was unbelievable. So we'll take the penalty, and Hatch does what she does. But we're only in that game because we defended as a back line very well. And I'm very happy with them. Our pressing as a team wasn't as good tonight. I don't think our press was as effective, and they hurt us a lot in the first half. But this is big time result, and really happy and impressed with this group.
It looked, the broadcast kind of cut away. It looked like at full time you gave a quick handshake to Freya and then kind of were running out to the defenders. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, it's a fair statement. If on the website it says defender or goalkeeper next to your name, you're getting free coffee for the next week. And Amber Brooks is already working on the Excel document. I'm being serious. Our press wasn't as good tonight. We weren't winning the ball in front of the midfield like we like to, but the defense, apart from what Thompson sneaking through when Aubrey came up big, the defense was incredible. In 20,000 people and dealing with the pressure, that moment later in the second half where I felt like they had 17 corners, the defense was just unbelievable. And we finished the night with more shots. We finished the night with the biggest chances of the game on the West Coast on the third game of 7 days. Yeah, San Diego, I knew was a good performance. I was happy, but we had room to grow. Tonight, this is massive. It's just the conditions. It's mindset to be able to come here and defend. And if the game finished draw, no problem. We're disappointed with the missed chances. But then we keep the pressure on and we get the chance to put the game in and get 3 points. We grew. We grew up. We grew up tonight. We really grew up tonight. And very impressed with the group.
Thanks, Mark. I'll pass the microphone here.
Andre, go ahead.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for speaking with us. Congrats on the win. On that, wanted to get your perspective about the penalty. It looked like at least from our perspective, seeing multiple replays, I thought it was actually going to be overturned when it went to VAR. But what did you see leading up to the penalty?
Yeah, we just saw one replay in the stadium, and the hand was up, and it ended up hitting the hand from the first look. As soon as I saw that, I thought it had to stay, but I haven't seen what you've seen. I haven't seen a great look. I thought we actually missed some handballs just around the middle of the pitch, kept bouncing off hands, and we weren't calling it. But Sam Stobb defended a cross down on the sideline, and she had her hands by her side. And we've been educated on the rules. Defenders, it's hard for defenders to defend with their hands by the side, and you can't run as well. But we know the rules. So first look, it looked like that, and I love what the team did in that moment because we had a long wait, and the way that the team protected Hatch, gave her the space just to focus on what she wanted to do, and then Hatch took care of business. And we're only in this position because I think we worked really hard as a team, but the backline and Orbs were big time. To come to the West Coast, to come to Angel City in 20,000 people and not really feel like they were going to score. I'm really impressed. I'm really, really happy. I loved the goals we scored this week, but tonight's my favourite because, we were hard to break down, and this is becoming a good trend.
It was an impressive defensive performance. I kind of want to talk about it from an attacking perspective. I know you said the press wasn't there, but also wanted to talk about Rodman versus Vignola. It seemed like we know Sarah Gordon's quick, but it also seemed like Vignola's speed and physicality was also kind of neutralizing Rodman at some times. Or some things. I know she switched to the different flank as well. Yeah.
Andre, there's only one way Trin was neutralized, which was there 2 or 3 yellow cards on the player that fouled her. She's getting fouled way too much. It's the only way you can neutralize her. And we got to protect the art of the game. San Diego, it was too much. I think she was fouled. It was the only way they could slow her down. And tonight there was way too much of it. And I think that Angel City had a great performance. I think their backline did a tremendous job. We moved Trin to help us in the press. The first half, I don't think we really got pressure on the ball where we wanted. Second half, we were much better with our press. But credit to Angel City, they played well. But you only stop Trin if you foul her. There's no other way to slow her down. She keeps finding new ways to be able to be dangerous. And tonight she still found a way to wiggle through sometimes, and she had a great chance as well. We got to make sure that when that Sanchez and Hatch and we're able to switch play, that we don't just get stuck on that side with Trin. We know how good she is, but she can't do it every time.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Ella, go ahead.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for being here. You know, when you think about where you were at the start of the season and where you kind of envisioned this team was going to be through 7 games, I guess it is now, where does a result like this kind of fit into where that picture was and how you see the team has come in these 7 games?
Performance was okay tonight. Performance okay. Pressing wasn't good. Build up, Angel City defended really well. So build up was a challenge. We kept trying to. We got Sanchez in the game, a bit more than probably Angel City wanted, but we are fighting to get her on the ball. Performance in defending, like I've said, was great. Create the best chances of the game. Performance was okay. The result is huge. The result is really big. I said it for the 3rd time. 3 games, 7 days. Travel to the West Coast. It's kicking off at 10 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, we're taking in positive steps. This is a group that's tasted success, but it's also a group that hasn't been able to maintain. And I think we're growing up. We're growing up, and we're doing the things that you have to do to be a good team. We took some steps. Performance was okay. Result is huge.
Thanks.
Back to Jason.
Mark, you mentioned Amber Brooks and her spreadsheet, but I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about the performances you've gotten out of her at right back. I know coming into the year, you probably weren't thinking we're going to have a ton of Amber Brooks at right back, but it seems like you mentioned the one-on-one defending a couple of weeks ago, but she's also contributing more and more on the ball. How has she grown into that role in a kind of an emergency situation?
Yeah, Amber's done great at centre back, and she's done great at full back. I loved her cross tonight for the chance for Trin, the cross that she did that a couple of times against Chicago. She did it. We did video actually yesterday. She did it against I think it was San Diego, but she put too much air on it, and me and her spoke about this quality she showed against Chicago. And after the game, she said, "You saw my cross?" I said, "Yeah, I gave you a thumbs up. It was a nice cross." She's doing great, but like everyone. She has listened well. She's brought her quality, and she continues to take forward steps. But that's been everyone. The best quality right now of this group is they're really open, and they're coachable, and they're working really hard. It's so much individual and group video over the last few days to get ready, and they just want to keep learning and keep growing. But they also have joy and fun. They're having fun there in front of 20,000 people at the end, getting booed. A few players were blowing some kisses out of respect for this amazing fan base. And also, sorry, I haven't said that this is special. I mean, just during warm-ups, there was 200 people, and I couldn't wait. I've never experienced it. Credit to Angel City, the club, but the community of LA to come out and support this team. This was a fun evening, and I'm personally, selfishly really glad that I got to experience it. Whether I was a fan tonight or the opportunity to coach, to be in this stadium and see what they're doing was fun.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
everyone. Appreciate you.
Safe trip back.
Thank you. Can't wait for that 6-hour flight.
its rodeo.
All right, everyone, we have midfielders Andy Sullivan and Marissa Shiva. Jason, go ahead and kick us off.
Thanks, Sam. Congrats to you both on what seems from Mark's comments like a pretty big win in terms of morale, in terms of a lot of things on that side. How did you both see the game playing out? It seemed like a kind of like it was shot out of a cannon from the get-go.
Me? Yep. Okay. Yeah, first half was really back and forth, really transitional. And they weren't giving us a lot of space at other times to work with, so they made it really difficult. And at the end of the game, we were really weathering the storm, and were really doing the right things to make sure we didn't concede. So to be able to, it's a really, really tough place to play, like really hostile, in the best way possible. It's an incredible environment. The fans are amazing. Even when they're hating you, it's really good for the game. So that energy was really hard to overcome. So I'm sure that's similar to what Mark said, to overcome that. And even at the end of the game with a penalty and it getting reviewed and, you know, drama and things like that, for Hatchie to put it away and seal it is incredible. And so many people had really big performances to get us that win. So yeah, it's pretty hard place to play, and really proud of everybody.
Andy, I have to ask, your halftime interview, probably your phone's gonna be blowing up because of the we're fit as hell thing. People seem to really be into that. I kind of wanted to ask, like big picture, how has that element changed what this team is capable of, being fit enough to play a game like this?
I think our style of play demands that we're really fit, especially as midfielders. I know Shiva can attest to this, is like the 8s have it so tough. Obviously our 9s do insane stuff. Our backline locks it down. So like I can give all the credit to Dawn and the team that she's assembled and the things they make us do every week to make sure that we're fit, and how they personalize it for each of us and help us with different, you know, injuries or schedules or timing. And that's all credit to the investment that the team has put in, the organization has put in, to build a team that is able to do that, so that we have depth and availability with players on the field and on the bench. So yeah, I told them that after the game tonight, like I felt really good. And that's at the, end of a 3-game week. Obviously I got to rest in the midweek, but that's pretty special, and after long travel. So to feel that good at this point in the season is very exciting. And I'm sure when you get the results, that also helps build that feeling. Did I even answer your question, or did I just ramble about how fit we are?
No, I mean, it is kind of that is kind of the question. So no, you answered it. Thanks.
Excited to see the halftime interview. I just said we're fit as hell.
Before we come back to the online questions, Jackie, any question from you?
Yeah, hi, Jackie, Olympic Goals. Yeah, just thinking about these 3 points, getting them, now you're at the top of the table. So for each of you, just how would you either credit Mark's leadership or just kind of where the team is at as a whole? Obviously, just reflecting on just where you were at last year and now getting to experience this.
Yeah, I think, it's a totally different year. We've done a 180 from where we were at last year. It's still so early in the season, but it's awesome to be at the top of the table. And I think it reflects the work we've put in for the past few months, and also the new mentality that this team has. I think that's the biggest piece. We obviously put in a ton of work on the field, and, our game plans are, a lot of work goes into that. But I would say the biggest piece and the biggest evolution from last year is that the mentality of this team is just incredible. To go, 3-0 in a 3-game week is pretty big for us. And, to add West Coast travel on top of that, I'm just really proud of this team.
Speaking of that mentality, what do you think is the root of what that looks like compared to just maybe previous years?
Well, I would add and kind of follow up on that question is, like, we know it's like kind of early to look at the table. Like, yes, it's obviously you always want to be at the top of the table, but we're looking at every performance and saying, like, yeah, it's great we got the result, but we know we can play better. We know we can be better in this area. And I think that is what's leading into our mentality being so strong, is just looking at who we are every week and making sure our identity stays the same, but we still grow in the areas where we're weak. So I think that's what's leading us.
Yeah.
And that's all, yeah, credit to Mark.
All right, Andre, go ahead.
Hey, congratulations on the win. Just wanted to get both of your perspectives on the penalty. I know you probably only saw like a piece of it if you saw it at all, but what was your perspective on the call and your nerves as you were waiting for VAR to come to a decision?
Yeah. I mean, I was the one that ripped the shot that ended up going into their defender's arm. And I don't think I quite realized it in the moment. I thought it was just, going out of bounds at that point. But like, I mean, it's a crazy environment, and it didn't really register at first that it was, going into review. And I mean, the refs made the call, and really proud of how our team handled that moment. I mean, we keep saying that this is a really tough environment to play in, but I mean, the stadium was absolutely, shaking during those few minutes that the review was going on. So really proud of how our team handled that and how composed Hatchie was in that moment to bury it in the back of the net.
I didn't see it. I haven't seen the replay. Andre, what did you see?
It looked like a tough call on Angel City. I'll say that. But hey, it makes me happy. So whatever.
Yeah. Didn't see it, and like tough calls are made sometimes, and I'm sure we'll have tough calls for us and against us, and unfortunately, it's a part of the game. I think what was tough was the yellow card on Herchich, because she was behind the line at that point. So that one I was like, that's tough, but yeah, I feel bad for the refs, man. Playing, like, hearing refs ref you suck. Like, imagine 20,000 people saying ref you suck, or like, Andre, you suck at your job. Like, that's tough. So that always, like, it's a cool that the fans are into it in the environment, but I always have that like soft spot for everybody, no matter who they are. That's tough.
Yeah, that's gotta be bad. Andy, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the game. It was obviously a very physical game, and you talked about the first half you're kind of surviving. What were some of the adjustments to try to like pick them apart? And then also seems like they just started going route one a little bit to try to use their speed through the middle. So what was your kind of view on how the ebb and flow of the game went?
I think the adjustments at halftime were largely to help out our eights. And that's our nines and our 10s coming back to make sure that, like, especially on our left side, like, Paige didn't have to do two jobs, or do two jobs for as long, because they were really having a lot of success there. So I think that really helped. And then offensively, it was just continuing to try and free Sanchez. And I think we had a lot of success when Sanchez got in the pocket and turned and was able to face forward. And again, that freeing Sanchez also, if then they are attracted to Sanchez and something else opens up. So really, like, kind of minor adjustments, and then to continue to have the mentality. Yeah, I felt like the first half they were really dynamic up top. I said that at halftime, and but also going route one for them worked. Like, they had a lot of opportunities, a lot of crosses, and Aubrey came up big, a lot of things skidding across the front of our goal, and like we survived. So that's part of it. And we'll look at how we can prevent those from happening. But I think I just talked for 5 minutes and said nothing. So that's all I.
No, you definitely answered the question, and thank you.
I'm gonna get so much media training after this. You guys have no idea. I don't like media training.
And that's my cue. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Our East Coast friends, please go get some sleep, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, congrats on the win again. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joe. Get back safe.